Hello and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to another whiskey review, and this time it's one that I've had for quite a long time. Some years ago, and I'll be honest, I can't tell you quite how many, but I reckon it's probably close to a decade. I was bought this as a gift, and I've got this one and at least one other bottle of kind of special edition Jack Daniels that I've been bought very thankfully as a gift and then gone, I don't want to start that. I don't really know why. I've always had this thing about, certainly before I started reviewing whiskey and beer and looking into things in more detail, I just had this kind of, I don't know where I can get it again if I really like it, therefore I'm not going to try it in case I can't get it again. This weird thing. Really, I should have just opened this and enjoyed it when I received it, but hey, never mind. The fortunate side of that, however, is that I now get to share this experience with you. And this is a bottle of Bottled in Bond Jack Daniels 100 proof, which means it's 50% ABV. It's a great whacking litre size bottle, and it's a traveller's edition thing. So basically, you can only get this in airports, or at least as far as I understand it. But anyway, let's get into it, shall we? So, it comes in this glorious box. It's got some nice styling to it. There you go, Traveller's exclusive. A load of info on the back there we'll get into a bit later. But yeah, it's just a nice looking thing. So, the bottle itself, of course, if I can get into there without ruining it, looks like this. It's very reminiscent of an original Jack Daniels No. 7 bottle. It's, in fact, I think it's the same bottle. But it's got a few different details in the label, of course, the bottled in bond, the different ABV. It doesn't say that it's old No. 7 bottled at a higher proof. It's just, yeah, bottled in bond. So I guess we'll find out. So then, time to get this open. On here somewhere is a little opening tab. There we go. Just pull down the plastic at the top there. You know what, there's one at the back here as well, that might be easier. And I'm not having much luck with these things recently. There we go then, the label is off at the top, which means the damage is done. Now the only thing to do is enjoy it. So, the cap itself is actually just a screw cap, which is a little bit disappointing, as per, I guess, given that maybe it's because it's like an old No. 7 bottle. Yeah, it's just a plastic screw cap, which is not very exciting, but never mind. Let's get some of this poured out then, shall we? In the glass then, it's got a nice, rich golden colour. It looks well aged, if I'm honest. Whether there's any additions in here or not for that purpose, I don't know. But yeah, it's got a nice, almost. I'm actually struggling in the light with this one to get a proper reading on it. It's a deep honeyed colour, I think is probably the safest way to describe it. And then on the nose, undoubtedly punchy given the ABV, but that's very interesting. It has got this kind of kickback to the original No. 7, but feels a bit more layered, a bit more considered. Big burnt caramel notes as you'd probably expect, but also there's something of a light antiseptic note in there as well. It's got layers and layers to this because it is opening up and changing every time I put my nose to it, and a few floral honeyed notes even starting to break their way through. I'm sure we'll get some more as we get through it, but let's give it a taste, shall we? Cheers. Like the aroma, there is this kind of weird throwback to the original No. 7, but it's nowhere near as, I guess, raw and abrasive as that flagship product. It's a bit more, well, inevitably bold due to the ABV. It's got pretty big heat to it, again, as you'd expect, but it's short-lived. It's punchy, but doesn't prolong. It doesn't kick around for too long. And The body on it, I have to say, feels a little thin perhaps. It has legs on the glass, but it's, yeah, I don't know. On the tongue it just feels maybe a little washy, and then it feels like it's one of those whiskies that is very representative with the nose and the palate. They're both matching very well. There are burnt toffee, burnt caramel elements in there. There is a bit of that antiseptic vibe, which I can't recall ever experiencing in a Jack Daniel's product before. And then subtle floral honey notes as well. There's power behind it, it's punchy. It's not overly complex, if I'm honest, but it doesn't really have any massive put-offs either. If you're very susceptible to heat, then it's probably just a bit much, but other than that, it really does go down quite well. It's got a few banana notes now it's been opened. I suspect it's going to continue to evolve quite a lot as I get through it, and that medicinal concept that I kept mentioning feels like it's starting to break down now, a bit more herbal, a bit more clove perhaps. And yeah, it's ever changing, it's ever present. This is the first glass. I'm sure it will change a lot as I get through it, but it certainly has a lot of flavours that I don't traditionally associate with the Jack Daniel's brand in any of their products, but at the same time it has a distinct tip of the hat to their flagship as well, which, well, it's a nice change, but also definitely feels like it is part of the family. Right then, let's take a quick look at this box and bottle to see what else we can find out. Starting with the box, Jack Daniel's bottled at 100 proof Tennessee sour mash whiskey, bottled in bond at the Jack Daniel's distillery, Travelers exclusive. Again, bottled at 100 proof. And on the back it says Jack Daniel's bottled in bond is a rich, bold whiskey that honours the 1890s, the time when Mr. Jack began bottling whiskey in his signature square bottle. That era also marked when the United States government passed the Bottled in Bond Act. The bottled in bond designation was only awarded to whiskey aged for at least 4 years, distilled during a single season, crafted at only one distillery, and bottled at 100 proof. These efforts, even today, assure drinkers that the whiskey is of the highest standard of quality. And that, I think, is pretty much all there is to say. There is some information on the side of the bottle, the oldest registered distillery in the United States. I'm sure most of you knew that already. It says every barrel is different, every bottle tastes the same, which is quite impressive, to be fair. It says it's charcoal mellowed drop by drop, matured in barrels of their own making, and placed in the National Register of Historic Places by the United States government. It's just all their accolades, really. The content on the side of the bottle is a little different to the box, but it's kind of a condensed version and a bit swapped around. All the information is very much what we've already mentioned. That is a very interesting dram, it has to be said. It has changed a lot since the first sip. It's more layered now, a bit more complex. I did at one point say maybe it was a bit simple, but actually I think as you allow this to open up, it starts to break away from a few strong, simple flavours into more of a myriad of, well, more subtle ones. But yeah, no complaints here. I'm glad I finally opened it. I'm not sure it was good enough for me to be worried about opening it, but at the same time, it is still very nice. So, thumbs up from me, and that is all I've got to say about it. So as always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you haven't already, subscribe if you will be so kind, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.